on the channel, I can feel the tremors already. The ground is about ready to shake as it's the return of the Kyle Peterson Top 5. And today on the channel, we've got the Top 5 Earthquake figures. Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another edition of the Kyle Peterson Top 5 list. A Thursday tradition here on the channel where we count down my 5 favorite and sometimes 10 favorite action figures, toy lines. You get the idea at that point. But today, we're going to take a look at Earthquake. And Earthquake, no stranger to action figures in the wrestling figure genre, of course. As we just recently unboxed on the channel, go back just a couple days ago, you can find the Earthquake unboxing from the brand new WWE Mattel Royal Rumble Elite lineup there. And that's what got the wheels spinning for me. I wasn't sure who to do this week, and I enjoyed that Earthquake figure so much. And then I started looking and comparing. I said, you know what? Now's the time. I'm going to do a top 5 Earthquake. We're going to get to them all eventually, as you guys know. We're going to save some of the heavy hitters for a top 10 list. Every 1,000 subscribers on the channel will have a new top 10 list, so be ready for that. We're about 500 away, give or take, whatever it is. And we'll do another top 10, possibly Rey Mysterio or Jeff Hardy is what we're earing into. We'll see how that shakes out. But Earthquake, one of the big villains, one of the big bad guys, one of the big dudes of the 80s, 90s wrestling scene, and a big-time main eventer, tag team specialist with, of course, Typhoon in the Natural Disasters, and a character that's had more figures than maybe some people realize. And now we're just doing Earthquake figures here, as we do know there is a Shark figure that came out in the Mattel Elite line. We're not counting that one. We're just doing strictly Earthquake figures. So without any further ado, let's get down to it. Make sure you got your list. Put it in the comments down below. This is my list, as I always say, but put yours in the comments down below. So let's get to it. Let's get to Earthquake. All right, we kick it off at number 5, as we usually do when we're counting down from 5 to 1. And we're kicking off number 5 Earthquake figures of all time, as voted by me. We're kicking it off with Jakks Classic Superstars Series 22 Earthquake. Yes, Series 22. Now, Earthquake looks great here. He comes with the tag team title belt, of course. Soft goods singlet, which is also an interesting take, is primarily we see painted on singlets for most characters, but Jakks Classic Superstars went one further and gave us the cloth singlet on the big ol' Earthquake here. Now, we've complained before, of course, every Tuesday we do our Jakks Classic Superstars videos. Jakks Classic Superstar, my favorite wrestling toy line of all time, as most of you guys are fully aware by now if you've spent any time on my channel. Absolutely love this one, but I do say the big guy mold is just a hair too big. Earthquake is a big dude. I feel like they should have been just a hair smaller, but there wasn't the thing like there is now with scales of figures. We gotta always take that step back. Yeah, Hasbro, LJNs, there was some scale differences, but I don't think they were done on purpose. They were more mistake-driven or not paying attention-driven. But Jakks as well, scale, about everybody's the same height. But nowadays, AEW, Mattel, other toy lines, scale is something people are getting right. But you got to look at this one with, what is it, year? 2008 eyes. So we got to look at the old school eyes with this one. And for what we got at the time, knowing what we knew in 2008, this was a fabulous representation of Earthquake and one that sold pretty well. I didn't see this one hang around the shelf pegs for very long. I think it was a popular enough figure, and it was deep into the Classic Superstars line. As we know, we only got about 28 series of the single card set. This is Series 22, which was a very strong set as well. This Earthquake, a very, very good one. That is why he comes in at number 5. All right, next up is number 4, and number 4 Earthquake figure comes from the Mattel line. Yes, Mattel Elite's going strong, well over 10 years now, and Earthquake, no stranger to the Elite line, and we've got Earthquake at number 4 from the Then, Now, and Forever Walmart exclusive line is who we're going with at number 4 here. If you guys remember that set, we also had that kind of WCW Macho Man Randy Savage, very late version of Macho Man, which is a very solid figure. Sami Zayn, an underrated figure. I'm a Sami Zayn guy, though, so I do like that figure. And then we got his partner in crime, old Typhoon, the former Tugboat. So it was very cool to get the Natural Disasters in a set together as Walmart exclusives, which I know some people like that, some people did not like that. But this has always represented his tag team run for me, as he had a great solo career run in the WWF, but I don't know. I go back and forth. This is his most iconic time as part of the Natural Disasters. He was a tag team champion. Jimmy Hart running the scene with him, and Typhoon by his side. Matches against the LOD, of course, and $1 Million Man, IRS, and everybody else under the sun. I don't know which is more iconic. I go back and forth, and now I was going to say solo career, but now I'm looking at this again. This is a very iconic one as well. So you can't really go wrong with either Earthquake figures of any Earthquake figure, because one of the all-time best big man, I'd almost put him on the Mount Rushmore of big man. He's probably fighting for that number 4 spot. I'd have to really put the old pen to the paper. But number 4, the Then, Now, Forever, very, very solid in his Natural Disasters gear. He's got the tattoos, got the bald spot, got the mean mugging face. And then when you put him with Typhoon, business really picks up, as you guys know. So a very, very solid one, a very underrated one, representing a very important part of his career, is the number 4 spot for Earthquake. So let's take a look at number 3. All right, we're at the halfway point. If you haven't got your list together, do it now. Put it in the comments down below. And as I always say, put them in order. That's the hard spot, the hardest part. It's very easy to just put, I like this one best, or I like these two. Put them in order. That's the thing. That's the fun. That's the challenge. That's what you got to do. So put your top 5 list down below. So here at number 3 at the halfway point, we're going back to Mattel. Yes, Mattel. And we're going to WWE Elite Series 35 for Earthquake. Once again, a solo career, but also I think he might have dabbled briefly in a tag team with this one. I might be mistaken. Obviously, the one we saw before was more tag team driven. I guess we'll call this one more single career driven. Very similar, a lot of getting the most out of your molds, as we always say, a lot of reuse here, but a little bit more iconic, at least for me. Very close between the two, but I do prefer this one just a hair more than number 4, and that's why it's at number 3. But very good. An earlier Elite all the way back to 35. We're right about mid-90s of the Elites right now, so this is a long, long time ago this bad boy came out. This one I saw hang around a little bit longer. I did have the Snake with it, if I remember right, from Jake the Snake Roberts, of course. We all know what he did to Damien. Oh, none of us slept at night. We were so worried about Damien. But this Earthquake figure was a very, very solid one, very early in the line. One of our first bigger, giant-sized figures. We've gotten a few over the years. Earthquake will always be one of the bigger dudes in the Legends or Elite line, Royal Rumble line, whatever line he gets placed into. But number 3 for me, Mattel Elite Series 35. All right, we're at the number 2 spot here, and the number 2 spot is what spurned this decision to do the Earthquake Top 5. It is the brand new Earthquake 2022 Mattel WWE Elite Royal Rumble Earthquake figure. A very, very solid Earthquake figure. I was kind of going back between 4, 3, and 2. Where do I put these? I guess when all is said and done, with the double jointed elbows, the pinless joints on this one, the new boot mold to make him really big, being 6'7", 6'8", a big guy, making him tower over some of the other figures, that was enough to get him over the hump and into the number 2 spot for me. Canadian flag, I go both ways with it. Yes, he did wear it, but it's not as iconic. I remember the baby blue without the Canadian flag was a very good one. Who knows, maybe that would have been a perfect chase version, I guess, for this one, which they didn't end up doing. But a very solid one. Like I said, the pinless joints is really good. The big boot mold is really good for him. Makes him feel really imposing. Makes him feel bigger than he already was with the previous Elites. Just a whole lot to like about this Earthquake Royal Rumble figure. And like I said, it is hitting the store pegs right now. Be on the lookout at your Targets over the next month or so. You might run into this Earthquake if you are so inclined to pick him up out on your toy hunt. So there it is, Earthquake Royal Rumble Mattel Elite Series, 2022 version, I guess we'll say, of Earthquake. Now we're down to it. Who's coming in at number 1? All right, we've reached our final destination. The Earthquake has hit us, and we are at the number 1 spot. And as usual, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the old notification bell, give the video the good old thumbs up. You made it this far, you might as well give it a thumbs up. And then, of course, feel free to share the video and follow me on social media at SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson, and ProWrestlingTees.com. Support the channel. So without any further ado, who is my number 1 Earthquake figure? I'm sure a lot of you guys can guess, and I'm sure not everyone is going to have this one in their top 5. It depends. As I always say, these top 5 lists, or my list, that's first off, this is my list, and it's a combination of my favorite representations, characters, maybe nostalgia. It's a mix of everything that makes a list for anybody. Nobody's list is right. Nobody's list is wrong. But I can see some people having this on the list, some people not having this on the list. But for me, when I think earthquake, when I close the old eyes and I lay down to sleep and I have to think of earthquake, I go all the way back. I go way back to Kyle's childhood. And what do I pick up when I'm there? I go back to the old Hasbro days. Yes, Hasbro earthquake. Now, is this the greatest earthquake figure of all time as far as looks and articulation and all that? Absolutely not. It's those Mattel Elites we already looked at. There was 3 of them on the list. But as far as nostalgic purposes, playing purposes, just fun time, great memories purposes, this is the Earthquake. And this was such a boost to my Fig Fed when I was playing as a kid. When Typhoon and Earthquake came out, it was like game-changing in your play. The amount of matches I could have, him versus Warrior, him versus Hogan, or the LOD versus the Natural Disasters. All the different incarnations of matches you could have. It was truly a great day to be a kid and playing, and I spent so many hours with this Earthquake playing away and just having WrestleMania matches, you name it, doing all the things kids do when they're playing with figures. Just a lot of fun and a lot of nostalgia around this Earthquake, where the other ones, obviously, better in the articulation department, look more like John Tenta, of course, but there's just something that can't be beat for me around this Hasbro. And that's just the way it goes. And I'm sure some of you guys that are watching this understand that and are probably having him at number 1 as well. Some of you guys, maybe he's number 5 on your list. And somebody, maybe the Jakks Classic Superstars, you know, that was your growing up. You were playing with that Earthquake. That's your number 1 or 2. Everybody's list can be different. But for me, number 1 goes to the Hasbro John Tenta Earthquake figure. Just can't be beat for the nostalgic purposes and what it did to my childhood playing days. So there it is. That's the Earthquake Top 5. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you put your list in the comments down below. And until next time, I am Kyle. See you guys all real soon.